Okay, can you able to see my slide?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
So we are not shared any previous lecture notes.
Last time, last time we had a operation strategy lecture. So I will share it, no problem. Today I will share it. Both slides today I will share it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. Today is our lecture is on supply chain and logistic management. So previously we had a session on operation strategy. In today's lecture, we are going to discuss about supply chain and logistic management. Today's lecture focus is on the following areas. We are going to discuss what is supply chain management, and we will discuss about importance of supply chain management, the value chain model, supply chain distributions, current trend in supply chain management. After that, we will move into this logistic management. We will discuss about what is logistic management, components of logistic system, industrial 4.0 and supply chain management. And finally, we will discuss about supply chain related case study. Starbucks, we have selected a case from the Starbucks company and we will discuss a case study also. Before I start today's session, I just want to confirm, am I audible? My voice is clear. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay, great. Okay, let's move into this supply chain management. So as you are aware, you might heard about in the operation management, supply chain management is part and partial. It is very much essential for the operation management to effectively function this operation management. The supply chain management is very much essential and vital. And what is supply chain management? What do you mean by this supply chain management? Any idea? Actually, the supply chain management. So supply mean, as you're aware, supplying the product and services. And it is a chain of link is there between the partners, intermediaries, and suppliers, the customers, and the end users. You see, in the business context, organizations are, let's take the manufacturing firm. Organizations are business organizations are getting the raw material from their suppliers, and they are collecting this raw material from the suppliers. They are storing this raw material in their warehouse, and they are sending this raw material from the warehouse to their production plant, and they are manufacturing the product in the production plant. After that, they are sending these finished good or in product to their customers through the distributors. They may have, there are maybe different intermediaries to distribute this in product to the end users or customers. So this is actual the routine process for a manufacturing firm. So this is called the supply chain. This is called the supply chain. So supply chain include the planning and management of all activities involved in sourcing. Sourcing mean here finding or selecting or identifying the suppliers. Sourcing mean finding or selecting or identifying the suppliers. So the supply chain management include or involve sourcing and procurement and conversion and all logistic related activities in the supply chain management. So the supply chain management include the planning and management of the related activities in identifying or finding or selecting the suppliers. We call it a sourcing. And procurement activities. Procurement mean the company is placing the order to purchase the materials, and they have several transactions between this procurement. After that, they are collecting the raw materials from the supplier. So procurement activities and conversion. The conversion process mean from the actual the input converted into output. So conversion process, the manufacturing process. So they are collecting the material from the suppliers, they are storing in the warehouse, and they are distributing this raw material to the production plant. So conversion process. After that, they are sending all the finished good into the warehouses to store at the warehouse. So conversion process. And logistic management. After that, they are selling or they are distributing this finished good for the customers' orders. So logistic, they are sending and they are transporting all the finished good for the customer demand. So logistic management activities. So this is called supply chain management. Importantly, the supply chain management include coordination and collaboration with channel partners, including suppliers, intermediaries, third-party service providers, and customers. So the supply chain management, very importantly, involve with the partners or stakeholders, such as we call it channel partners, such as suppliers, intermediaries, third-party service providers, and customers. Here, the third-party service providers may be the insurance companies, the logistic management, insurance companies, some financial institutions, maybe the third-party service providers. Okay, there are some shipping companies, third-party service providers in the supply chain and logistic management activities. The supply chain management is the integration of activities that procure materials and services, transform them into intermediate goods and the final product, and deliver them to the customers. So basically, the supply chain management involve the material, purchasing of this material, procuring these materials, and transform them into intermediate goods and final product, and delivering this final product to the end users or customers. The supply chain management integrate supply and demand management within and across companies. So later we are going to discuss about the global supply chain management system and so on. So the purpose of this supply chain management is to meet the demand and the supply, and to provide services to the connected partners or connected companies. So nowadays the supply chain management is transformed, and it has the big role. It is playing the big role in the global marketplace, because business organizations are running their business not only in the local market, they are running their business operation in global marketplaces. So they want to send their product and services the global market, and they are getting materials from the global market. So they need this global supply chain management system to function in the global marketplaces. Okay. So what are the benefits? So importance of this supply chain management system. So what are the benefits of this supply chain management system for a business organization? This supply chain management system will improve the customer satisfaction, because the timely delivery of finished good to the end users or customers. So our customers will satisfy with the delivery of goods and services. The timely delivery of finished goods and services to our customers or end users, improved customer satisfaction. If there is any delay in the distributions, so the customers are waiting for long time to get our product and services, so they will be dissatisfied. So better, the effective supply chain management system will improve the customer satisfaction. Reduce operating cost. In a sense, they can estimate and they can procure the raw materials on time. They can manufacture the right amount of goods, and they can store it in the warehouses, and they can distribute in a proper time. So reduce operating cost. And also they can estimate when we have to place the order to get these raw materials. So they can estimate the correct time. So no need to get these materials and store it at the warehouses for a longer period. And there are many unbounded costs like lightning, insurance, and some other security, sometime some losses in the raw materials. So they don't want to face all these kind of unwanted costs. So they can enjoy the operational efficiency. So the effective supply chain management system can reduce operating cost, improve case flows. As I mentioned earlier, so they can order the raw materials on time. So then they don't want to block their capital on raw materials, and they can estimate when we have to place the order, and they can estimate how much money we need to buy these materials, raw materials, and they can take the decision on time. So they can estimate the case outflow and the case inflow, and at the same time they can estimate the sales income, sales revenue, how much revenue we can get by next week or 2 weeks later or next month. So then they can effectively manage their case inflow and case outflows. And more efficient sourcing and procurement. More efficient sourcing and procurement. As I mentioned earlier, the sourcing is identifying or selecting or the suppliers. So they can easily identify the proper suppliers on time, and they can do their procurement on time. So then the effective supply chain management system will facilitate them to run their business smoothly. The next is safeguarding supply of raw materials. In a sense, the timely order of inventories, so then they can store it at the warehouses, and there is no shortage of inventories when they need this what you call this, when they needed this finished goods. So timely they can schedule their productions without any delays, and they don't want to wait for the raw materials, and they don't want to close their production plant. They can their manufacturing processes can be continued without any delays or without any barriers. So safeguarding supply of raw materials. Better inventory management. So as I pointed out earlier, in the warehouse, they can maintain the sufficient amount of inventories, and they don't want to bear up the additional or extra cost, and they can maintain the required level of inventories for their manufacturing process. So better inventory management. It's for the raw materials as well as for the finished goods. So they can deliver the required number of finished goods to the market on time. So better inventory management. Better partnership with distributors. The finished goods are distributed to our end users or customers through the intermediaries and distributors. So then we can send our finished good to our distributors without any delays, and distributors can sell our product, or they can transfer our product in the proper time. So then we can develop a good partnership and rapport with our distributors, so our product can be reached our customers on time. The competitive advantage in your industry. So nowadays the business environment is getting competitive, and it is turbulent. So the competitive advantage for a business organization, if the business organization has effective supply chain management system, so then they can enjoy a competitive advantage in their market. They can capture their market, they can sustain in the market. Good supply chain management system help them to deliver their product and services on time to their customers, so then they can keep their customers for a long time. So competitive advantage in the market. So these are some of the benefits and some of the importance of effective supply chain management system for an organizations. Got the idea? Have you understood? Shall we move to next slide?
Okay.
Okay, great. So now we are going to see how a supply chain, a typical supply chain management system operate. Here you see there are various stakeholders and there are various operation in this supply chain process. Okay, let me annotate. Okay, you see from the farming, from the agriculture field, the farming, they are harvesting the raw materials, and there are various supply chains, tier 1 and tier 2 and tier 3 suppliers, tier 1 suppliers, tier 2 suppliers, and tier 3 suppliers. So the level of suppliers. So the suppliers can get the materials from tier 1, tier 2 can get the supply from tier 1, tier 3 can get the supply from tier 2. Likewise, there are sub-suppliers like tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 suppliers are there. And here you see bottle manufacturing, the intermediate organizers in the bottle manufacturing, they are manufacturing the bottles, can manufacturing intermediaries, and there are some storage places, and the actual company, manufacturing company, they are manufacturing, and after that they are distributing to the distributors. Through these distributors, they are distributing the finished goods, and distributors are sending this finished good to the grocery shop, and finally the customers are getting the finished good from the grocery shop. And in this process, you see there are various flows like credit flows, I mean the fund flow, and ideas are designed to satisfy the end customers. There are designing process, the product designing process for this bottle manufacturing, can manufacturing, some other manufacturings, and the materials flows. You see the finished goods are transferred to the end users through these distributors. And the top part, you can see the design data, and they can collect some sort of data from these distributors about their market situation and the customer feedback or something. And the market research data, it can help them to modify their marketing strategies, and they can understand about their customer behaviors, customer buying behaviors, and customer preference changes, and the market situation, the trend of the product, like the reason for sudden falls or sudden drop, or the competitive positions in the market. Everything they can get from this market research data, and order and cash flows, and they can get these orders from the distributing channels. They can get these orders, and the cash flows for the raw materials purchasing, and sales income, cash flows, and scheduling informations. There are various kind of scheduling information. This is how a typical supply chain management system is working. And there are various stakeholders, various flows. Later, we are going to look at this various kind of flows in this supply chain management system. And this is how actual supply chain management system is working for business organization. There are various stakeholders they are involving. Got the idea?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Shall we move into next slide? Okay, look at this diagram. Here you see, as I mentioned earlier in the previous slide, there are tier level suppliers, and they are supplying the material to the tier 1 suppliers. Tier 1 suppliers are getting the materials from tier 2 suppliers, and assembly or manufacturing, the actual manufacturing business organization or the business firms are getting the raw materials from the tier 1 suppliers, assembly or manufacturing. And once the product is finished, the manufacturing process is over, they are transferring their finished good through these distributing centers, distributors or intermediary organizations. The intermediary organizations are distribution centers are transferring the finished good to the retail stores or grocery shops, retailers. And finally, the retailers are selling the product to the end users or customers. And there you see the material flows here from this bottom to top, you can find the material flows. the materials, raw materials are assembly or manufactured and transferred as a finished good to the end users or customers, the material flow, and the information flow from the customers to the manufacturing company or assembly organizations, information flow. In a sense, the customer feedback, customer preferences, customer ideas, customer suggestions, customer opinions, information flow, customer transactions. So these all are the information flow, and from this supplies to customers, material flow. Got the idea? Hello?
So, yeah.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay, shall we move?
Okay.
Okay, great. So this is a typical process in the supply chain management. And here we looked at the material flow and the information flow from top to bottom and bottom to top. Both way, in both direction, we looked at the material flow and the information flow. Okay. According to the Gartner, is the international organization in the business and IT field, which rank the top 25 supply chains for the world leading business organizations in 2021. So these are the well-performing supply chain management organizations. You might heard about Cisco Systems, and they are the rank one, the number one supply chain management system in 2021 in the world, Cisco Systems. And Colgate Palmolive, this is also the well-known company, and they are the second effective supply chain management system in 2021. And Johnson & Johnson, and you see the Nestle is in 5th rank, Intel 6th rank, PepsiCo 7th rank, and Walmart and Alibaba in the 10th rank, and Nike 12th. Likewise, the popular companies are in the first 25th rank according to this Gartner supply chain ranking. And they considered various parameters to rank these companies. And here, the next columns, you can find their parameters to consider or to rank their supply chain management system. So the Cisco has the better supply chain management system compared to other companies, and they are in the rank 1. And when we look at this supply chain management system, the historical path, there are several development. There are several phases or several development or advancement. So in the earlier days, I mean late 1970s, just they look at this what do you call this manufacturing strategy. Only they focused on the manufacturing strategy, how to manufacture product and services. Late 1970s. After that, in 1980s, Japanese introduced JIT, just-in-time productions. In a sense, they get the order from the market, from the customers, and they place the raw materials and manufacture and sell it to the customers, just-in-time productions. So there is no inventory management, there is no finished good storage. So once they receive the orders from the customers only, they place the raw materials, place the order for raw materials, manufacture and sell it to the end users, just-in-time production. Early 1980s. After that, in 1980s, mid-1980s, service quality and productivity. They focused on service quality. They check the quality parameters, and the manufacturing firms wants to benchmark based on the quality and productivity. They try to increase the productivity, and they try to benchmark based on the quality. That is on mid-1980s. In 1990s, they focused on total quality management, TQM, and quality certification programs, ISO and some other certification program to market, to benchmark their product. So total quality management in 1980s. And they also focused on Six Sigma quality and some other standard, ISO standard mid 1990s. And business process re-engineering, BPR. So they think to re-engineer or redesign their business process. And they introduce some machineries and some automation in this business process re-engineering. Instead of manual or instead of machineries, they introduce some automations and some other redesigning process in the manufacturing. So it's in 1990s and late 1990s. And late 1990s, they focused on supply chain management. They focused on supply chain management activities. So how to find the best suppliers, how to find these distributors, how to find these other channel partners, and the logistic arrangement, and placing the materials, placing the order for materials from the best supplier, and collecting the materials, manufacturing, sell to the end users through distributors and channel partners. So supply chain management related activities. And e-commerce. So parallelly, they focused on the e-commerce activities also. So they move forward to the global marketplaces and global customers and global competitions. They wanted to focus on electronic commerce activities. And nowadays, you see, in the early 2000s, the service sciences. So they preferred service as a key aspect in this selling product. So they focused highly on this service quality and service sciences, and how to improve this service quality, and how to satisfy the customers, how to get these delighted customers. So all these service related focus. And the mid 2010s and today's the business analytics. The analytics, business analytics is playing a vital role. So they can analyze and they can take better decision from the data. So they collected the data from market. They collected the data from their business operation. They collected the data from their suppliers, collected the data from distributors, and they collected the company data. They analyze it and they optimize and they find the optimal solution for the problem in supply chain management. And then they can take the decision based on the business analytics and business decisions. So these days they are using various kind of technologies like artificial intelligence and some other improved technologies, big data, artificial intelligence, IoT, Internet of Things, and various kind of latest trend and computing platforms to get superior data and superior insight from the market and the product. So they are enjoying benefit from this analytics. So the reason today's business environment is focusing on business analytics to enjoy various insight and benefits. This is how the supply chain operation and supply chain management system has improved or get more improvement in the industry. Got the idea? Hello? Hello?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. So now we are going to discuss about the importance of a global supply chain management system. So far we looked at what is supply chain and importance of supply chain management system and various flows, materials and information flows, and its the growth path. Now we are going to discuss about the global supply chain management. So the global supply chain are networks that can span across multiple continents and countries for the purpose of sourcing and supplying goods and services. Basically, this global supply chain management system focuses many networks. So many chain network mean here many paths or many chains, networks or connections that can span across multiple continents and countries, that can be in between or multiple or across the countries or continent for the purpose of finding the best suppliers, sourcing and supplying goods and services. So the purpose of finding best suppliers and supplying or distributing their product and services globally across the globe. So this is called the global supply chain. The global supply chain involves the flow of information, processes, and resources across the globe. Here, information means their data and information to the connected partners like suppliers, distributors, channel partners, and some other intermediaries and customers. They are transferring the informations. And processes. Processes mean sending goods, placing orders, receiving goods, returning, logistic arrangement, and various kind of fund flows, information flows, the processes, and business related activities. And resources, like they can transfer their finished goods and various monetary benefits, fund transfers, and financial activities, banking activities, logistic activities, various kind of resources across the globe. So global supply chains are big business and a critical source of competitive advantage, because today business organizations are running their business not only in the local market, they are running their business operation in the global marketplaces. So to meet this global customers requirement and to compete with the global competitors, they want to integrate with their system, the effective supply chains and the logistic system with their business operations, so then they can sell their product and services through e-commerce, and they can collect the orders from customers through e-commerce site. They can send the product to their customers through this logistic and through these distributors. So they need the global supply chain, and also they can find the suppliers from global marketplaces, and they can find the customers from global market, and they can find the distributors in the global market. I mean, other countries or other continents or other part of the world, and they can find the service providers from other countries and other continents. So they need good network and good connections between these partners. So the global supply chain management is very much essential for today's business operations, because many business organizations are transferred to the global marketplaces. Shall we move?
Okay.
Okay. Now look at this picture. In the bottom part, you can find this. You see, okay, from the top part. First, we will discuss about the top part. The supply chain consists of suppliers, and we know this. Let me annotate. Okay, suppliers are there, and they are supplying the raw materials, and manufacturing firms are manufacturing the raw materials, and they are producing product, and the intermediaries or the distributors are there to transfer the finished good to the end users from the manufacturing companies. So the distributing channels, distributors are there, and the distributors are transferring the goods to the retail shop or retail grocery shops, and from the grocery or retail shops, the customers are getting the product. So upstream and downstream, from the up to downstream, the end users are getting or enjoying the product and services. The supply chain consists of the following connected partners. And here you see, aims to match supply and demand. So the customers has the demand, and the suppliers has the manufacturing company or supplier has the supply of, they have a supplying power. The customers has the demand. So in this case, you see, the companies wants to enjoy the profit, higher profit. Companies want to, here you can see the supply side and the demand side. The customers are there. From the customer side, demand, and supply side, the supply. Okay. They want to balance it. Because the company wants to earn the right profit, and the customers wants to get the quality product, and also they want to get satisfaction in the product. So it should be balanced. Then only the both parties can sustain. The both party can enjoy their supply and from their consumptions. Okay, you see, the right product, the right place, right price, the right time, the right quality, the right customers, the right time, they can enjoy higher profit. If anything is missing or if anything is a problem in this process, the companies cannot get the profit. Let's assume that the price is not good. They may face the problem. Assume that they did not find the right customers. They failed to find the proper customers. Their supply chain cannot get the profit. The right quantity. If the manufacturing firm failed to manufacture or produce the required number of quantities, so they will face the problem. Right time. If they fail to supply their product on time to the market, useless. You see, in Sri Lankan case now, people are suffering for gas cylinders. People are suffering for petrol, and the people are suffering for some other essential items. The business organizations are failed to supply on right time, right quantities, and right price. You see, the right price. The price hike nowadays, the product prices are very much high, the right price. So ultimately, it will impact on their business operations. In future business operation, definitely it will impact, because now people are suffering. So they will find some other alternatives. They will select some other options, alternative options. So it will impact on their business operations. And the right product, if they fail to manufacture the right product for the right time, they cannot get the higher profit. So the both parties has to focus on their side of demand. So to enjoy the right profit or the higher profit in the market, the manufacturing firm has to focus on this, the following aspect. Then only they can enjoy the right profit. Got the idea?
Yes, sir.
So the supply chain management, the value, the generated value from the supply chain management, the generated value is minimizing supply chain cost, while keeping a reasonable service level and a customer satisfaction, quality, and on-time delivery. So this is the generated value. The ultimate purpose of the supply chain management system is minimizing the supply chain cost. So minimizing supply chain cost means they must have the number of distributors, and they must have the proper channel to get the raw materials, the on-time procurement, the on-time manufacturing, the on-time delivery to the finished good to the market. So minimizing the supply chain cost and finding the best supplier. They want to find the best supplier for their raw materials. Sometimes if they fail to find the best supplier, they want to buy the raw materials in a higher price. So ultimate finished goods also will increase. The price will be increased. If they are finding the right supplier, so they can get the raw material in a reasonable price. Otherwise, they want to buy for a raw materials in a high price. So it will impact on their final finished goods price. So finding the sourcing, it means sourcing the right suppliers. So this is how the supply chain management system is supporting for the bottom line. I mean the ultimate price to the customers. So minimizing supply chain cost while keeping a reasonable service level to the customer satisfaction, quality, on-time delivery to the customers. So this is the generated value from this supply chain management system. Okay, now look at this diagram. Here, from the supply to customers, there are various stakeholders in between the supply to customers. Now you see, in between these two parties, there are various flows: material flows, information flows, and fund flows. So you know this material flow, finished good, the raw materials are converted and transferred as a finished goods. The materials, information, they are exchanging various kind of informations. And fund mean the financial fund, the funds transactions. Okay, the latest slide I'm going to show you. Here you see various flows. The supply chain management system is concerned with the management and control of the flow of materials, informations, and finances in supply chain. Look at this. As I mentioned earlier, the global supply chain management system. So the organizations they are marketing their product and services for global customers. So their customers are in various countries and continent. Thailand, the manufacturing firms are there, and India, suppliers are there, and Mexico, the logistic operations. In Texas, the distributions. Ultimately, the US retailers are there, and the US customers are enjoying. The US customers are demanding. So they have a US customer has the demand and supply. You see the supply from the Thailand to US customers supply. And there you see the information flow from the customers to suppliers, the information flow, various kind of information flow, product and service flow from the suppliers to customers, product and service flow, the one-way direction, one-way arrow, you can find it. And from the customers to suppliers, the cash flow. So customers are paying the money for the product. After that, the companies are getting the money and they are paying the suppliers, cash flows. The task of supply chain management is to design, plan, and execute the activities at the different stages so as to provide the desired levels of service to supply chain customers profitably. So the purpose is to design, plan, and execute the activities at the different stages so as to provide the desired level of service to supply chain customers profitably. So when they have the good rapport and good network or linkage between these stakeholders and these partners, the customers also get the benefit, and the suppliers and some other connected intermediaries also get the benefit in this supply chain process. Got the idea? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Shall we move?
Okay.
Okay. The generic supply chain. So this in this the typical supply chain process, there are various stakeholders and their operations or functions. And here you see sources, the plant, vendors, and port for a manufacturing firm, the regional warehouses, stocking point, and field warehouses, stocking point, customers, demand centers and sinks. So the customers are there. And for a company, these are the regional warehouses and the field warehouses. And the inventories are stored in the warehouses. And there are various purchase and shipments, and they are stored in the inventory like warehouses, and supply and transportations to these inventories to the other connected parties. So this is how the generic supply chain work. And you see the connection, so the network or a linkage between these organizations or connected parties. Okay, now we are going to discuss about the value chain. So previously you might heard about this value chain sometime in marketing, and this is you can I think we have already discussed this value chain in the operation management also. The value chain, the Porter's value chain, I guess, yeah. The value chain, in the value chain model, there are activities like inbound and outbound logistic and the supply chain related activities are there. Actually, in the value chain, the primary activities, there are some primary activities and the supportive activities. The bottom line, we can see the primary activities such as the inbound logistics, operations, outbound logistics, marketing and sales, and services. And to carry out these primary activities, there are supportive services or activities in the organization, like firm infrastructure, like general management, accounting, finance, strategic planning, and firm structure infrastructure for a business organization. And in the organization, there are various human resources, recruitment, employees training, employees development, and their promotional related activities, human resource related supportive activities. Technology development, like research and development, product and process improvement, and technological infrastructure, IT systems, this all comes under this technological development. Procurement, under this procurement, so there are various activities like purchasing of raw materials, machines, purchasing of machines, and supplies, some other related machineries and some other equipments, procurement related activities. And here you see the primary activities: inbound logistics, raw materials handling, and warehousing. So inside the organization, the process involved to handle their raw materials, like raw materials from the warehouse to the production plant, handling the raw materials, and warehousing. So from the finished goods are stored into the warehouses. So inbound logistic, inside the organization, the logistic arrangement to send the raw material to the production plant, finished goods are transferred to the warehouses. Inbound logistic. Operations, their operation, routine operation, like machining, assembling, testing, product. So the routine operations, the manufacturing operations, their scheduling and their assembling, their manufacturing process comes under these operations. Outbound logistics, it is opposite to this inbound logistic. Outbound mean in the outside environment, warehousing and distribution of finished product to the customers, and through these distributors, they are sending this product to the end users. So warehousing and distribution of finished product, outbound logistics. And for this outbound logistic, the marketing and sales is very much important for their promotions, for their advertisements. Through this promotion and advertisement, they can find the best customers in the market, they can sell their product. So advertising, promoting, pricing, channel relationships. So it is also one primary activities. And services, and installations, repairing parts, and some other supportive services. Here you see the primary activities and the supportive activities, and here the margin. This is called the profit margin. When they are enjoy the efficiencies in these primary and supportive activities, they can enjoy the good profit margin. They can enjoy the good profit margin in their business operation. This is called the value chain. Ultimately, in each and every primary activities, they must enjoy, business organization has to optimize the efficiencies. So then they can enjoy the profit margin at the end. In their operation, like inbound logistic, operations, outbound logistic, marketing, and service, they have to optimize, and they have to reduce cost, and they have to optimize efficiencies. So then their profit margin will increase. So the inbound logistic, raw materials brought into the company, and I have already explained all these steps. In the operations, any part of the business that convert raw materials into product and services, so the actual manufacturing process. The outbound logistic, getting the product and services to the customers, so they are sending the finished good to the end users or customers. Sales and marketing, the entire buyers to purchase product and services, so promotional, advertising related activities to sell their product and services in the market. And service, support of product and services that customers have purchased, so customer queries, compliance, and some other feedback, customer services. So all this comes under these service activities. So the firm infrastructure, the supportive services. So far we looked at the primary activities in our value chain. We looked at the primary activities. Now we are going to discuss about the supportive activities. The supportive activities, the firm infrastructure. all the organization function that support the business, technology connected and supports related support. Human resource management, it focuses the recruitment, hiring, training, and the promotional related activities. And technology development, advances and innovation adapted to add the value to the company, like technological infrastructure, computerizing systems, and so on. Procurement, acquiring raw materials for production and operations. So all these activities are comes under this procurement. Okay. In the value chain model, you see now we can have this value chain model, and we can categorize this value chain activities, primary activities, supportive activities, into various kind of systems. You see the value chain model and supply chain, CRM, customer relationship management. The primary activities, look at here, the primary activities in the value chain model. Here, the bottom line, the primary activities are listed. You see inbound logistics, operations, and some of the outbound logistics. This area is highly related with the supply chain management. Supply chain management. Do you agree? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, in the supply chain, the value chain model, in the primary activities, such as inbound logistics, actual operations, and outbound logistics. These all are highly related with the supply chain management. At the same time, in the primary activities, outbound logistics, marketing and sales, and services, after sales services. These all are highly related with customer relationship management, CRM. So basically, the primary activities in the value chain consist two components. The one is supply chain management. The other one is customer relationship management. Put the area. At the same time, in the same value chain model, the supportive activities. First, we looked at the primary activities. Now we are focusing about the supportive activities. All the supportive activities in the value chain model is concerned or focuses on the enterprise resource planning, ERP systems. Enterprise resource planning, because in the enterprise resource planning is the organization-wide, the enterprise-wide information system, which consists various modules to handle each and every department. Department like accounting, department like functional department like accounting, functional department like finance, HRM, marketing and sales, and research and development, and so on. For each and every functional area or a functional department, the enterprise resource planning has modules to handle each and every department transactions, data, informations, and to record all the routine activities. And the best part of this enterprise resource planning is to share the data and information between and among the connected business unit or a functional areas. So enterprise resource planning. Here, the firm infrastructure, accounting, finance, strategic planning, and market management. And here the human resource development, HR related activities, and technological development like research and development, and product, and some other computerized accounting systems. The procurement systems, there are various systems are supporting for this enterprise resource planning. So what we can do is we can classify or categorize the entire value chain model into three systems. The first one is the supply chain management system from the primary activities, and the customer relationship system, the same primary activities from the supportive activities of this value chain model, enterprise resource planning. So these are the major three types of systems which are supporting for a large scale business organization or an enterprise. So the value chain model, based on the activities in the value chain model, we can classify or we can group three major kind of information system. One is supply chain management system. The second one is customer relationship management system. And the third one is enterprise resource planning system. Got the idea?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Do you want break or shall I continue? Do you want break or shall I continue?
2:45. Let's take a break.
Okay, 2:45. We will go for a break. Okay, now look at this slide, and we are going to discuss about supply chain distributions. In the supply chain, there is a distribution channel, like the finished goods are distributed to the end users or customers through these distributors or intermediary organizations. So at the same time, in the recent business setting, the business organizations are implementing, or they are using various kind of new technologies to handle this inventory management, or to handle this supply chains, like order management, inventory management, and processing this order or handling this order. They are using various kind of technologies. One of the improved, the recent technologies, radio frequency identifier, RFID, you might heard about. So there are equipments, or there are devices which can scan the RFID tag, and they can recognize this particular package, or this particular parcel or package can be delivered to this particular distributor, or this particular packages belongs to this particular customer. His address is in this region, in this location. So this should be directed or distributed through this intermediary or a partner. So which can easily classify, or which can easily recognize the package, and which can facilitate for the smooth supply chain. The radio frequency identifier, automated data collection technology, which relies on radio waves to transfer the data between reader and the RFID tag. So in the package, they have imported this RFID tag, so that the special device or the RFID scanner can scan that RFID tag, and it can recognize, and it can easily classify the packages to the relevant route or relevant distributors. So you can identify, you can find this picture here. The materials are, the packages are in a line or a line, and they are using this RFID tag to classify, and they can place it in a proper location, and after that they can start to send or load these packages to the relevant distributors. The distributors can distribute these packages to the relevant customers. The third-party service providers, ease of developing an electronic storefront has allowed the discovery of suppliers from around the world. So there are various intelligent applications are there, so which can recognize the packages, and which can easily identify the packages, and which can direct to the relevant distributors or relevant people, so then they can distribute these packages to the end users or customers. Okay, nowadays there are the integrated supply chain management system, from the traditional supply chain management system to the integrated supply chain management system. I have introduced the previous slide. I have introduced the enterprise resource planning. The enterprise resource planning is the wide, large scale information system for an business organization or enterprise to monitor, to handle the entire business operations. So they have a separate dedicated module for each and every functional area, and in that enterprise resource planning, they have a modules like customer relationship management, supply chain management system, some project management tools, some forecasting tools, and they have various kind of integrated modules. Nowadays, the supply chain management systems also integrated with some other sophisticated enterprise-wide information system like ERP system. Implementing integrated supply chain management require analyzing the whole supply chain. If they want to integrate the supply chain management system into the some other sophisticated enterprise-wide applications, they want to analyze the whole supply chains. So what is their actual process? How many distributors are there? What is their where their suppliers are located? And so they have to analyze the whole supply chains. Who are the intermediaries? So they have to analyze it, starting by integrating internal function first. So first they have to start from the internal functions, the inbound logistics from the warehouse to the production plant with a connected internal business unit. So phase by phase or step by steps, they have to implement these integrations. So starting by integrating internal functions first, integrating external suppliers through partnership. So after that, once they are successful in the integration in the inside, they can move outside partners and suppliers. So integrating outside partners and suppliers. So then they can connect their supply chain management system with the enterprise-wide information system like ERP systems. At the same time, the suppliers' goals are increase sales volume. So suppliers are targeting their sales volume, like they want to increase their sales volume, so then they can enjoy the profit. Increase customer loyalty. They want to maintain the customer loyalty, the trustworthy and the delighted, the loyal customers. So increase the customer loyalty. Reduce cost. Their aim is to reduce the cost. So timely supply of inventories or materials to the manufacturing firms. So reduce cost. Improve demand data. So once they receive the purchasing order, or once they receive the order, they want to supply. So they have to be ready. Improve profitability. So in their operations, they are looking for the profit for their business operations. So improve profitability. The recent development or the current trend in supply chain management systems. So nowadays, you see the business operations are highly electronic based and electronic market oriented. So most of the organizations are, the developed organizations are doing e-commerce business operations. So increased use of electronic marketplace such as e-distributors, independently owned net marketplaces having catalogs representing thousands of suppliers and designed for the spot purchase. So e-distributors, we can find the details of the suppliers. So then we can select the right suppliers to get the raw materials. E-purchasing. So companies that connect online suppliers to the business who pay fees to join the market, usually for long-term contractual purchasing. So we can easily find these suppliers. So then we can purchase our materials without any delay, or we can get the raw materials purchasing. Value chain management. So we have previously discussed this value chain management activities, automation of a firm's purchasing or selling processes. Exchanges, marketplaces that focuses on spot requirements of large firm in a single industry. So they may have exchanges. So then in between these channel partners and distributors, so they can have a good rapport for their business operation. So industry consortia, industry owned the market that enable buyers to purchase direct inputs from a limited set of invited suppliers. So there are website, and there are various consortia. There, the buyers can purchase their product from that industry consortia. The decreased supply chain velocity due to greater distances with greater uncertainty and generally less efficient. So these days, it is easy to find the suppliers, and no need to wait for longer time. So for example, these days we people are ordering and we are getting the goods from Alipay and some other e-commerce site. We can place the order and we can collect the goods from our original place. So there is no delay in receiving the goods. And greening of a supply chain, packaging, distribution, carbon footprint, etc. So these days, the supply chain management operations are highly concerned about the environment, the distributions, and they are trying to adapt. They are trying to implement some green supply chain practices. So these are some of the recent current trend in supply chain management systems, and which are helping for the improvement of these supply chain management systems. At the same time, inside the organization, inside the business organizations, how these supply chain management systems are helping or supporting. Nowadays, the supply chain management systems are changing the way the companies are doing their business. In a sense, the accounting department share supply chain management benefits due to inventory level decreases. So suddenly it can monitor the available stocks in their hand and the number of inventories, the orders they received, the demand in their hand, and they can match whether the available stock is enough to fulfill these placed orders, what is the deviations, and when to place the order for this raw material purchasing, how much buffer stock we have in our hand, how much unit we have in our hand, what is our, they can predict the future forecasting. So the accounting departments are very much alert, and they can share some critical information to the relevant department for the smooth operation of their business activities. At the same time, the marketing department also benefits by improved customer service levels. So marketing department, so they can look at and monitor the customer behaviors and the competitive position in the market, and new product in the market size, and various marketing strategies in the marketplace, and they can monitor all these activities, and they can feed some insight to the supply chain management system to improve it. Information systems, the IT department of a business organization are critical of business sharing, information sharing through PSO, point of sales data, EDI, electronic data interchange, RFID, radio frequency identifier, the internet, intranet, and some other extranet. So the information systems are collecting, storing, processing, and disseminating the actual data with relevant department or functional areas, and they can collect the data from various sources like point of sales, electronic data interchange, and RFID, and some other internal and external network, and they can share it for the smooth operation of an organization. Purchasing is responsible for sourcing materials. The purchasing and procurement department, they can easily identify, they can easily select the correct and reliable suppliers, so then they can get the materials, raw material for their operations without any barriers. The operations departments, the manufacturing and operation department are timely demand information to more effectively plan production schedules. So they can monitor, they can manufacture right amount of product, they can schedule their productions, they can plan their productions, the timely delivery of finished good to the warehouses. So they can support for the entire business organization activity. So inside the organization, each and every functional areas are supporting for this supply chain management operations. What the idea? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, now we are going to discuss about logistic management. So far we have looked at the supply chain management. We have discussed what is supply chains and what is the purpose of importance or benefits of supply chain management system. We looked at various flows in supply chain management system. We looked at various diagrams to demonstrate the connected parties, distributors, channel partners, and various flows in the supply chain management system. We looked at value chain model, the primary activities and the supportive activities, how this value chain can be classified or grouped into major kind of system in an organizations, where we looked at supply chain management system, customer relationship management system, enterprise resource planning system, and at last we looked at how supply chain management system can support and how each functional area of a business organization can link or support with supply chain management system we looked at. With that, we are going to discuss about logistic management. So far we looked at the supply chain management system, and now we are going to discuss about logistic management system. Shall we continue? Shall we have a break? Logistic management, shall we continue? Shall we have a break?
Break.
Okay, let's go for a break, and after that we will continue with the logistic management.
Okay.
So the break is for 50 minutes. We will meet 2:45. Can you able to see the screen? Hello, can you able to see my screen?
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Okay, great. So far we looked at the logistic, supply chain management. Now we are going to discuss about logistic management. So you might aware about this logistic management. So it is very much linked and connected with supply chain management. Normally, the term is, we call it supply chain logistic management, supply chain and logistic management. In the supply, there are a chain of partners or distributors, supply chain and logistic. So the transportation arrangement is logistic. Simply we can define the transportation arrangement is the logistic. But in the organizational context, the logistic can be defined like the material management. So the material management is logistic, such as the management of raw materials and parts into the production process. So in the previous supply chain, we looked at organizations are sourcing the right suppliers, selecting the right suppliers, and they are purchasing, buying these raw materials, and they are storing at the warehouses. And to production process, they are distributing this raw materials from the warehouse to this production plant. So material management, the management of raw materials and parts into the production process is called logistic. And physical distribution, this is for the manufacturing process, the logistic operations. And for the physical distributions, the finished goods are sell to the end users or customers. So physical distributions, the management of finished product through delivered to the customers. So the finished goods are transferred to the end users through the distributors and retailers. So the customers are getting the product and services. So in the organizational context, the logistic management is the material management, this management of raw materials and parts into the production process. And in the product physical distributions, management of finished product through delivered to the customers. The combination of both can be referred in the organizational context, the logistic management. So ultimately, business organizations are collecting the raw materials and they are storing at the warehouse, and they are sent to this raw material to the production plant, and the production plant is manufacturing the goods, and again they are sending this finished good to the store warehouses. The physical distributions from the warehouse, the finished goods are sell to the customers through the distributors or retailers or some other intermediaries. So combination of this both is referred as a logistic operation in the organizational context. But in case of suppliers, the logistic is the continuous process of meeting customer needs. Sorry, in the context of customers, logistic is the continuous process of meeting customer needs by ensuring the availability of the right benefits for the right customers. The right benefits to the right customers in the quantity and the condition. The right quantity and the right condition, the desired condition, at the time and the place customer wants them. Customer wants them, all for a price the customer is willing to pay. The logistic mean the right product, the right time, for the right customers, in the desired condition should be available for the right customers, and there is no shortage in the supply, and for their customers price. For the customers price is called logistics. So the product should be available in the right place, right time, with the right desired conditions. The customers, they desire or they need the product with a set of conditions for their price. So this is called, from the customer's perspective, the logistic. So I don't want to repeat the previous example from our the country situations. Now customers can feel that poor logistic. They can feel that these days the customers can feel that poor logistics, because they don't have the right amount of product, the right time, and they are not willing to pay the price also. They are not willing to pay the price because the shortage of product, and the product is not available at the right time, and sometimes the quality also not good for them. So nowadays the customers may feel that poor logistic management, lack of logistic management. Okay, the logistic in the organizations. Logistic in the organization. The ultimate value a firm create is a function of the amount buyers are willing to pay for its product or services. The amount of the function of the amount of buyers are willing to pay for its product or services. It talks about the price the buyers are going to pay. The price buyers are going to pay. Profit occurs when the value exceeded the total cost of production or delivery activities. So if a particular business organization wants to enjoy the profit, their value should be higher than their total cost or productions. So the value the business organization is creating mean it should be higher than, if they want to enjoy the profit in their business, they want to get the value, that value should be higher than their total productions or delivery activities. Total production or total production mean including the delivery activities. The total price will include their production cost plus some other additional cost. So then only they can enjoy the value. Firm gains competitive advantage by delivering at lower total cost than their competitors. If any firm wants to enjoy the competitive advantage, their delivering cost should be lesser than their competitors. If so, they can enjoy the competitive advantage in the market. Logistics is important strategically and tactically in order to gain competitive advantage, because if a particular organization has better effective logistic management, they can reduce their delivering cost because they have a better logistic. Logistic means they have a many island-wide distributors, many intermediary organizations, and they can easily sell their product to these customers through their intermediaries and distributors. So they have a lower delivering cost. Since the delivering cost is low, so then their ultimate, the final product price is less. So the customers can enjoy. So they have a competitive advantage over their competitors. Compared to their competitors, this particular company's product is less and they can enjoy the competitive advantage in the market. Business is increasingly aware that well-managed logistics system can provide the organization with a sustainable competitive advantage. So the organizations are aware that the well-managed logistics system can provide the longer period of competitive advantage in the market, because compared to other competitors, our management, logistic management is very effective. We have sufficient number of distributors, sufficient number of intermediaries in the market. So our customers can get the product on right time, the right place, with the right price. Compared to other competitors, our product price is less. So they are the market leaders. Their price is very high. Sorry, their price is very low. Their customers also satisfied with their service. So they are enjoying the competitive advantage in the market. So it is very much important for the organizations to keep their logistic management very much effective to enjoy this competitive advantage in the market. Now here you see, this is a typical process in the business setting. The raw materials are there, and raw materials and the suppliers, from the suppliers, part suppliers, the manufacturing firm is getting the raw materials from the suppliers, part suppliers, and they are manufacturing the goods and services, and they are storing at the warehouse, and after that they are distributing this finished goods to the customers through the distributors, and end users are there, the customers are there, and they are consuming the finished goods. Okay, here the material management, and here the distribution management. The reason for material management here, the raw materials to suppliers, material management, and supplies to the manufacturer, again the material management, and up to here the material management, and from manufacturing firm to the end users, the customers, the distribution management. Here you see the distribution management, managing the distributors. And all this material management and the logistic, sorry, all this material management and distribution management together, we can call it logistics. So ultimately they have to make sure the right delivery of raw materials on the right time, and right deliver to the end users the product and services, so the logistics, so then they can enjoy, or they can reduce the distribution cost. It will impact on their price. The price will be lesser or lower than their competitors. So logistic arrangement. What the idea? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now we will move into this next part. Component of a logistic system. So if it is a logistic system, what are the components? The logistic systems also consist customer service. So they want to get the feedback from the customers. They want to collect the opinion from customers, customers' suggestions. So customers' ideas. customer service, customer compliance. And the company wants to give the reply to the customer compliance. So customer service, serving for customers. Inventory management. So it must contain the inventory management. So raw materials and the finished goods, distributing the finished goods. So inventory management. Transportations, shipments. Transportation mean it can be the ship transportations or air cargo or any other freight transportations, anything. Transportations, shipment activities. Storage and material handling. So they want to store it, and the material handling, store the raw material into the warehouses or stores, and storing the finished goods, storage handling. Packaging. So the goods are packaged for the customers with their details, and proper packaging should be there. The customer's address and some other location information, customer details, packaging. Information processing, the customer informations, distributor informations, the channel partners information, retailers informations, and the product related informations. So information processing, and fund related informations, the case inflows informations. Demand forecasting. So how much the order we will get in future. So forecasting the demand, and how much we can get from the suppliers. What is our processing capacity, manufacturing capacity, demand forecasting. Purchasing. So raw material purchasing, the related machineries and some other purchasings. Facility locations, like if they want to manufacture, if they want their manufacturing plant, so they need some resources, and they want to keep all the facilities and facility locations. Storage, so on. Reverse logistic, like sometimes the customers may return the product, return their orders. So reverse logistics. Sometimes the manufacturing company can return the raw material to the customers, sorry, to their suppliers. If the quality is not fit for them, they will return it. At the same time, the customers also, they can return the purchased product to the company. So reverse logistics. Warranty support. So it is after sales service. The warranties for the product and its support, its warranty management, all these related activities. So components of logistics systems. Okay. Now you see the previous the value chain model. We know this the value chain, the Michael Porter's value chain. Ultimately, when we are creating the value, we want to enjoy the profit margin from the value. The value mean, in addition to our product, in addition to our product cost, we want to create the value. We want to satisfy our customers. Then only we can enjoy the profit. So we call it value. In addition to the product cost, we are creating some additional value to our product, so our customers are enjoying and satisfying. So value chain. You know, these supportive activities and primary activities. In the primary activities itself, there are two logistic management: inbound logistic and outbound logistics. Inbound logistic and outbound logistics are the two sub-logistic activities that are in our primary activities in the value chain model. And note that two of the primary activities are logistic activities that are inbound logistic and outbound logistic in our primary activities. Primary activities of the organization are shown in the vertically. You see ongoing, this is the primary activities, and these are the vertical, the horizontals are the supportive activities. Okay, now logistic has a competitive edge, competitive advantage. How? Customer demand, customers are looking for, customers are seeking faster delivery. Customers are seeking the faster delivery. There is no shortage in the market. The product should be available all the time. And they want to get the product everywhere. It should be available. So faster delivery. And if they place the order, it should be delivered to the customers within a short period of time. They don't want to wait for the product. So faster delivery. Continuous shipment tracking. So the customers should be able to track their orders current status. So I placed the order yesterday. What is my order's current status? Where is my order? Where is my package? Whether it is in the particular organizations, or this particular order is with a shipment, or with a distributor, or with a channel partner, or with a any other handling intermediate organizations. So they should be able to check its tracking, continuous shipment tracking. Electronic transfer of data, electronic transfer of informations. They should be able to get the update about their orders and some information. So time to time, if you are placing the order in the online systems, you will get notification and alert, email alert. So normally when you are placing the order in Daraz, you are getting the alert. So you have your placed order is on the way. It's in the our distributors, our salesman is bringing. Likewise, you are getting the alert, and the customers can able to get the email alert for their invoice. So the place order, the quantity, the product name, and the price, and the discount, and the delivery date, everything will be communicated with your email in an electronic way. So electronic transfer of informations. Reduction of wasted time. So faster delivery. Production of minimum of delivery time. So wasted time. So they don't want to wait for longer period for their ordered product. So when a company is efficient, or when a company is able to manage all these 4 things, so they can enjoy the competitive edge. Speed of delivery may be important to those in developed region and countries. So in the developed countries and developed regions, the customers are looking for this speed of delivery. So it should be very quick. If they are ordering the product today, they would be able to get it tomorrow, day after tomorrow. So should be quickly delivered. But in case of the developing or underdeveloped countries, consistency of availability may be more important to those in underdeveloped regions or countries. Like consistency here, the availability. Their product should be available. They are not underdeveloping and the developing countries people are, the customers are not looking the speed of delivery, but they are looking for the availability of this service. All the time, the product should be available in the market. All the time, this particular company should be supply the particular product. So the consistency of availability may be more important in the developing and underdeveloped region or countries. So when a company focusing all this aspect, they can focus on this competitive advantage. So they can enjoy the profit compared to their competitors. Okay, in the previous slide, we looked at the logistic here, the components of logistic system. We looked at various components, and now here you see the logistic system. There are the transportation facilities, warehouse management facilities, and the material management facilities, inventory management facilities, information system, and the customer services. All are integrated with the logistic management system. All the components are integrated with the logistic management system, so then it can effectively function to support for an organization, logistic system. Okay. Forecasting and inventory decisions. Forecasting and inventory decisions. The logistic management is very much, the logistic management system is very much important for forecasting and inventory decisions, to take inventory related decisions. Here you see the integrated decisions. The integrated decision in forecasting and inventory are important for effective management of supply chain systems. So they want to get the update. They want to get the information from the integrated environment. In a sense, they want to collect the data from the suppliers and the logistic companies and our functional internal business unit data and some insurance companies to take the decisions. So integrated decision in forecasting and inventory are important for effective management of supply chain systems. So for a supply chain management system, they are looking the integrated decisions, the collective decisions, collective information to forecast and to manage their inventories. Bottleneck may be created if information is not shared and the decisions are not coordinated. So there may be barriers, or there may be bottleneck due to this information sharing. I mean, shortages in the information sharing or the shortages in coordinations. So if the management want to take a better decision, their system should be, their supply chain management should be integrated, linked with some other connected partners like suppliers systems, the logistic company systems, the shipment company systems, and some fund transfer company system, banking systems, and the internal department systems. Their supply chain management system must integrate it, and they want to get the updated informations, timely updated information. Then only they can take the right decision on right time they can take. So there should be the information sharing as well as the coordinations. The connected partners should be able to share their informations, and there must be a coordination between these connected parties. So then they can share their data information for those who need this data informations. Any one of the component in the supply chain can be a bottleneck. Here you see, let's say in the typical supply chain, there are connected partners like the customers are there, retailers are there, the distributors are there, the producers, the manufacturing firms there, the suppliers are there. So from the suppliers, the data is suppliers, manufacturing firm is sending the data, and suppliers also transferring the data. So they have a communication and transactions. Like in between these distributors, there are distributors like air cargo and shipments and some other way of transportations and logistic arrangement. From the manufacturing company to these distributors, there are communication and information sharing. And retailers, from the distributors to retailers, there are communication, sales and demand update, sales and the sales figures, so many transactions. From the customers to retailers also, there are various transaction and information sharing. Any one of the components in the supply chain can be a bottleneck. So any one of this network can be a bottleneck. So sometimes the retailers are not sharing the informations, or sometimes the distributors are not sharing the proper information with the connected parties, or the manufacturing firm is not sharing the required information with the connected parties. So if so, there will be a bottleneck, there will be a barriers in their supply chain. The bottleneck affect the entire supply chain. When one of the connected party is not able to share the data and informations, So he will become as a bottleneck barrier in this chain, and it will affect the entire supply chain. It will impact or affect the entire supply chain. Assume that the retailer is not updating or not sharing the actual information with the distributors. So the manufacturing firm and the distributors cannot get the information about the customers. So it will impact for the entire distributing channel. I mean the supply chain management. So bottleneck affect the entire supply chain. If one of the connected party is a bottleneck, it will impact for the entire supply chain system. Contingency planning for supply chain capacity crisis must be done to avoid crippling damages. So the management should take the timely decisions, contingency planning, strategic decision for supply chain capacity crisis. If there is any crisis or if there is any problem in this chain, the management should take the strategic decision to sort it out this issue and for the smooth functioning of this supply chain. So forecasting and inventory decisions. So to forecast and to better inventory management, they must share their information and data, updated data and information, and then only they will have a smooth supply chain management system for their business. Integrated decision in forecasting and inventory are important for effective management of supply chain management system. So integrated decisions in forecasting and inventory are important for effective management of supply chain system. So as I mentioned earlier, the supply chain management system should be integrated with other connected parties system, so then they can share the information on time. Excessive inventories and shortages may result in supply chain if information is not shared and decisions are not coordinated. If they have the poor supply chain management system, sometimes the manufacturing firm can have excessive inventories, so they have to face the unwanted issues like their capital is blocked, excessive inventories, capital is blocked, and they want to maintain these inventories, excessive inventories. They have to bear up this additional cost like lightning and storage and insurance and some other losses. And also it will create the shortages also, like the poor coordination in this in the supply chain will create the shortages also, like they cannot manufacture the right amount of product on time, and their manufacturing process will delay, and their manufacturing schedule cannot be continued. They cannot deliver the demand quantities on time to the market. So it will create various issues. This may lead to amplified demand variability in a supply chain. So it will create the fluctuations, or it will create various difficulties in the supply chain. This phenomenon is called bullshit effect. It means that the orders by a retailer to its wholesaler to replenishes the stock are likely to fluctuate more than the demand at the retailer. So it will create abnormal condition in the market, like the product are shortage and people are ready to buy, the product is shortage. So the customers will suffer sometime. So the poor coordination and the poor supply chain management system will create various issues in forecasting and inventory management related decision. Okay, now we are going to discuss about some practical example for a logistic. For a company, you see, they have in this example, they have 3 manufacturing plant and 4 distributors and their capacity. their capacity. The logistic system outline the distribution strategy. Here you see the example of Rukna Auto Parts Company illustrate how distribution strategies are determined. From this example, you can understand how they are maintaining their inventories and how they are optimizing their distribution channel. Okay, look at here. Capacity of each plant. They have a 3 plant. The plants are here. These are the 3 production plant. These are located in Miami, Tempe, and Columbus. These are the plant locations. Names the plant locations: Miami, Tempe, and Columbus. And distributors. These are the distributors. 4 distributors. Demand at each distributors. The customers will place the order, or the distributors are requesting the number of quantities from the production plant. So the production plants are supporting or sending the finished good to the distributors. The distributing distributors are MKG, ASN, GMZ, AKLA. These are the distributing companies. And here you see the Miami, its capacity is 20,000 units. Tempe, 40,000 units. Columbus, 30,000. Altogether, how much? 90,000 units. Altogether, 90,000 units. And for the distributors, they are requesting MKG 25,000, ASN 13,500, GMZ 16,800, and AKLA 34,700. 34,700. Now you see 900,000 capacity. 900,000 capacity. 900,000 capacity. And the 4 distributors are also requesting 900,000. Summation of this one is 900,000. So the total of supply 900,000. 900,000. The 3 production plants are going to supply 900,000, and demands also. The 4 distributors also demanding 900,000. So their demand and supply is same, matched together. So there is no any problem. In a more general and complex problem, the supply and demands may not match. The next case or example, we are going to see if the demand and supply is not matched, how to optimize or how to enjoy the efficient supply chain. So in this example, the demand and supplies are matching. So it's equal. So there won't be any issue. Here you see the cost of transportation per unit from each plant to each distributor. Each plant to each distributor. Miami to MKG to transfer one cost $1. $1. And ASN to Miami plant. The plant is in Miami, $3. And GMZ, $3.5. Likewise, for other distributors and other plant, the transportation cost also given. But here, the demand and supplies are matching. So there won't be any issue. So then the requested, the demanded quantities can be transferred to these distributors. So then they can have the supply chain, good supply chain system. Now you see, we are going to look at another example. Look at this example. Logistic solution for Rukna, the same company. And as usual, they have a 3 plant, manufacturing plant, Miami, Tempe, and Columbus. And MKG, ASN, GMZ, AKLA are the 4 distributors. And their cost also here. And you see, Rukna wants to know the number of units to be shipped from each plant to each distributor to minimize the cost of transportation. The cost of transportation. Now the company wants to know how much will wants to know number of units to be shipped from each plant to each distributor to minimize the cost. So here you see total shipment 20,000, 40,000 from Tempe, and 30,000 from Columbus. So 90,000 total quantities can be supplied. And constraint type. So they have a 90,000. And here you see the demand. They are requesting 25,000 MKG, 25,000 unit, 33,000, 33,500, 60,800, 34,900 unit is demanding. Unit cost of transportation. Unit cost of transportation. Now here you see Miami $1, from Miami to MKG $1, ASN $3, and MGZ $3.5. Likewise, it goes. Now, total transportation cost they want to calculate. Total transportation cost they want to calculate. And here you see 11,000 $1, 11,800 $1, $11,800. And again, they are looking for the optimal place. Optimal place. Here no. Okay. Here no, and here. From here, $12,300 the cost is, because they are requesting $8,200. Sorry, 8,200 unit, and their transportation cost is 1.5. 1.5, 8,200 and 1.5. Okay. Okay. Can you see this? Can you see my slide?
Yeah.
Okay. $8,200. The transportation cost is 1.5, and 12,300 cost. Same as 26,500 is the requested demanded quantities. The transportation cost is 4 and 160,000. So likewise, they have calculated for each and every columns. And the best solution, they have calculated the total cost is, the transportation cost is $203,525. The best solution to this problem is given in the figure. Here you see the total transportation cost, and they have minimum for this problem is given in the cell. So they have calculated this amount, and they will send this unit to the distributors for their optimal solutions. So in the previous case, you see their supply and demand is matching, but in this case, they want to find the optimum solution in their logistic arrangement, and they want to find the better distributor, and so then they can enjoy the best logistic solution for their operations. This is a real example and a real case for a practical company. Annotate. Okay. This is the, the previous Excel sheet. This is how they have calculated. This is how they have calculated. And I will send this slide also, so then you can look at the calculating part. Okay, now we are going to discuss about some recent trend in this logistic arrangement and supply chain management system. First, we will begin with this Industry 4.0 and industrial revolutions. You might heard about the recent days, the industrial revolutions or Industry 4.0. And the first industrial revolutions, power generation. Here you see the first industrial revolution, the power revolutions. The second industrial revolution is the industrializations. And the third industrial revolution is the electronic automations. And the fourth industrial revolution is the smart automation. The fourth one is the Industry 4.0, smart automations. The Industry 4.0 connect embedded system production technologies and smart production processes to pave the way to a new technological age, which will radically transform the industry and the production value chain and the business models. So in this figure, you can find various industrial revolutions. And now we are in the last industrial revolution, the fourth industrial revolutions, that is Industry 4.0. So Industrial 4.0 is smart automations. And it's the period also given, the first industrial revolutions, late 19th century, the beginning of 20th century, the second industrial revolution, and the third industrial revolution in between 70 to 2000, and today's onwards, 2010 onwards, we have a Industry 4.0 revolutions. And here, the best part of this Industry 4.0 is there are various automations in the manufacturing, productions, and supply chain, logistic, and various internal organizational business process that are increasing use of cyber-physical systems, in the organizational setting. And in terms of network, network infrastructure, IPv6, virtually unlimited addressing space becomes available. So they introduce various new advancement in the communication, telecommunication, and networking. Government, private companies, and industry associations have been focusing on Industry 4.0 and making investments since the 2020. After 2010s, the governments, private companies, and industry associations have focusing Industry 4.0 for their developments. So this Industry 4.0 will bring many benefits to the organizations. Many benefits to the organization, like they can introduce various automations in the organization. So their processes, business processes will increase, and they can minimize the wastages, and many imported devices can be fixed with these packages and various technologies and so on. The transformation and integration of digital informations. So for the transformation and integration of digital information, shifting to real-time access to data and intelligence will fundamentally transform the way to conduct businesses. So they are using various kind of technologies and embedded devices in the manufacturing process, like artificial intelligence and business intelligence and big data analytics, IoT devices, Internet of Things devices, sensor devices, and RFID technology devices. So various new trend technologies are used. So then they can transfer and they can sense the real data in a short period of time. This shift is driven by the continuous and cyclical flow of information and actions between physical and digital world, called the physical to digital to physical loop. So here they have a physical and digital loop. There you see the establish a digital records, capture information from the physical world to create a digital record of the physical operation and supply network. So from the capturing information from the physical world, they are creating many digital records. And here analyze and visualize, analyzing and visualizing. The physical, from the physical world, the physical environment, they captured many data and informations, and they created this data and information in a digital form, and they can able to analyze it and visualize it with the advancement, with the use of latest analytics and intelligence. They can analyze and visualize the data and information, and they can find many insight, many hidden insight, many hidden trend, many hidden associations. So they can take a better decision for their operations. Analyze and visualize. Machines talk to each other to share information, allowing for advanced analytics and visualization for real-time data from multiple sources. They can collect the data from manufacturing plant. They can collect the data from manufacturing machines. They can collect the data from packaging. They can collect the data from transportation, the logistic, and they can collect the data from customers. So these data and information can be visualized, and they can find various insight by using the advanced analytics and advanced technologies. The generate movement, apply algorithm and automation to translate decisions and actions from the digital world into movement in the physical world. So they can apply various algorithms, various automations to translate decisions and actions. So they can, by applying this automation and the decisions, so they can move to some what do you call this actions, better decision making, or better they can experiment, they can do some experiments, so simulations for their decisions. So better decision making, ultimately they can take better decision making. So nowadays you see the advancement in this the transformation of industrial 4.0 has emerged various sophistication and various development in this manufacturing and the supply chains, and organizations are enjoying benefits from this real-time data. They are enjoying various benefits for their operations. Now we are going to discuss about the 9 pillars of technological advancement in Industry 4.0. These are the 9 pillars. Those are the advanced robotics. These days, the companies, due to this Industry 4.0, the sophisticated the manufacturing plant, robotics are there for the manufacturing process. The robotics are used, like robotic arms, robotics are used. Autonomous cooperating industrial robots, numerous integrated sensors and standardized interfaces. So the robotics can perform better than the human, and it can continuously functions, no tired, no error free, and robotics can be used for some works that cannot be performed by the humans, and it can be used for heavy work. Robots can be used for heavy works. So many advantages are there in the advanced robotics. Additive manufacturing, 3D printing, and particularly for space parts and prototypes. Sorry, spare part and prototypes. It's not clear. Sorry, spare part and prototypes, and decentralized 3D facilities to reduce transport distances to inventory. So in this technology, so various kind of visualizations and simulations and can be designed for the prototype and advanced visualizations. Augmented reality. Augmented reality. Augmented reality for maintenance, logistics, and all kind of supply chain related operations. Display of supporting information through classes. So augmented reality mean it can by wearing this kind of classes, the employees or the users can feel the reality, and physically they can feel the reality, and they can get the real information. They can get some exposure about these machineries, the functions, or any kind of simulations, augmented realities. Simulation of value networks, optimization based on real-time data from intelligent systems. So the engineers and the designers and the some architect, they can perform the simulation, and they can find the errors. They can evaluate the performance. They can apply the simulation for some optimization problems. They can solve. They can get some idea from the simulation how this machine can run, how this machine's internal parts can run, and they can physically they can visualize all the internal process of a machine or any kind of engines or any kind of new design. They can look at the physical visual views, simulations. Horizontal or vertical integrations, cross-company data integration based on data transfer standards, preconditions, a fully automated value chain from suppliers to the customers, from management to the shop floor. So horizontal, vertical integrations, customers, suppliers, companies, department, data and information can be matched, and they can get some sort of idea and informations and hidden informations, and they can get some sort of idea to increase their sales, to increase their market size, to find some customers. So for the better business decision making, they may use this horizontal vertical integration of data. Industrial internet, network of machines and a product, multi-directional communication between networks and object. So these are highly the network infrastructure and network machines and servers and some other connected devices, and optimal usage of these devices and product. Cloud computing. These days, the management of huge data volumes in open system like companies, and a real-time communication for production system like the real companies are facing some problem in maintaining huge amount of data in the physical environment. So then the recent technologies like cloud computing, they can save, they can store, they can process the data in the cloud-based environment. So they don't want to keep the physical infrastructure, IT infrastructure in their physical environment, physical office setup. Instead of this physical IT infrastructure, they can hire the cloud computing facilities. So then their data can be kept and it can be available for all the time, and they can access the data anytime. And there is no investment for this IT infrastructure, hardware and software. They can hire this service and they can pay the subscription fees for these cloud computing services, and their data can be secure, and there is no failure in this cloud computing infrastructure and cloud computing platform. So the recent days, there are various attack, computer attack, cyber criminal activities, cyber terrorisms. So they are safe from these cyber criminal activities. So the cloud computing environment is giving much facilities for this industry 4.0. Management of a huge data volumes in open systems, real-time communication for production system. From the manufacturing production plant to plant, they can easily communicate, and they can access the required data and information from the cloud environment. Cybersecurity. Operation in networks and open systems, high level of networking between intelligent machines, product, and the system. So the trade secrets, trade formulas, and business contract, and various manufacturing schedules, manufacturing formulas can be kept, and secure environment. So operation, and they have a separated, dedicated, highly secured networks. So their systems are safe from this all the security threats. So cyber security and protected network environment for the smooth operation of this Industry 4.0 related companies. Big data and analytics. So this is very much essential, and it plays a vital role in today's Industry 4.0 companies, like full evaluation of available data from ERP system, supply chain management system, customer relationship management system, and machine data, real-time decision-making, support, and optimizations, like by collecting data from various sources like enterprise resource planning, supply chain management system, and customer relationship management system, and machine data. By using this big data and analytics, the managers and some other professionals can visualize, they can analyze the data, they can find many insight from this data, real-time decision making and support and optimizations. The decision makers and the business leaders can take real-time decisions based on this business analytics and big data related informations. Nowadays, you see in the business context, there are huge amount of data from the customer side, from the business operation side, the business transaction side, supplier side, and the vendor side. So each and every company has big volume of data, and maintaining, managing, storing, and handling a big volume of data is very much difficult, and analyzing and handling this data also very much difficult. So the analytic is supporting and helping them to easily analyze and get the idea and insight and many information about this big volume of data with the use of analytics. So in the Industry 4.0, these pillars are helping to form or to develop this Industry 4.0, and these technologies are supporting for the development of this Industry 4.0, and these all are the reason and the sophisticated technologies and recent trend for this Industry 4.0. The changing traditional manufacturing to smart factory. Nowadays, the manufacturing process is transferred as a smart factory. The earlier ancient and the traditional manufacturing process, the manual process are there, machineries are there, and there are people involved in this manufacturing process. They want to schedule manually, they want to schedule manually, they want to perform the production functions, and a lot of human involvement are there. The labor involvements are there. But in case of this smart factory, with the help of Industry 4.0, with Industry 4.0, the 9 pillars of technological advancement will transform the productions. So the Industry 4.0, the augmented reality, and this advanced robotics, and the simulations, and the industry internet, the cloud-based applications and analytics, which will help the smart factory for the smooth functionings. So their errors are free, and the labor involvements are free, and the continuous manufacturing, and the quality control, quality management, and the various aspects can be achieved. From isolated to optimized cell to fully integrated, automated, and optimized production flow, leading to great efficiencies and a changing traditional production relationship among suppliers, producers, and the customers, as well as between human and machines. So as I mentioned earlier, it will reduce the interaction between human and machines. So all are automated, all the business, all the production manufacturing functions are automated, and the devices, the connected technologies can facilitate the smooth production manufacturing process. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, okay, with that, I'm going to conclude today's session. And if you want to ask anything, you may ask, you may clarify your questions. So today we looked at the supply chain management system and the importance of supply chain management system. And we looked at the value chain model. In the value chain model, we looked at primary activities and supporting activities. And this value chain model can be grouped into three major enterprise level systems, such as supply chain management system, customer relationship management system, and ERP systems. And we looked at supply chain distributions. We looked at various channel partners, intermediaries, and distributors in the supply chain management systems. Current trend in supply chain management system, we looked at logistic management, we looked at components of logistic management, we looked at, and industry 4.0 and supply chain. And finally, there is a case study, supply chain case study. It's in Starbucks. So finally, we will look at this case study also. And there's a case study related with this supply chain management. Starbucks, you might heard about this popular term, Starbucks. It's a pretty much a household name. We all are familiar, but like many of most successful worldwide brand, the coffee shop gained, the coffee shop gained has been through its period of supply chain pain. So they are facing the problem in their supply chain. In fact, during 2007 and 2008, Starbucks leadership began to have severe doubt about the company's ability to supply its 16,700 outlet. They have a outlet. The number is 16,800 outlet worldwide. As in most commercial sectors, at that time, sales were falling. So their sales were falling down. At the same time, though, supply chain cost rose by more than 75 million. At the same time, their sales are falling and their supply chain cost also increasing. Supply chain cost also increasing. So the supply chain cost reduction challenges, the supply chain cost reduction challenges. When the supply chain executive team began investigating the pricing cost and the supply chain performance issues, they found that service was indeed falling short of expectations. So they found that their service is not good. And their reason for this sales drop is the service was not good as the customers expected. And they found that the following reasons, finding include the following problems. Fewer than 15% of outlet deliveries were arriving on time. So half of the outlet deliveries are not on time. Fewer than 15% of outlet deliveries were arriving on time. So other 50% are not in on time. Several poor outsourcing decisions had led to excessive expenses. So they are hiring some outsourcing. So those outsourcing are not effective. Several poor outsourcing decisions had led to face expenditures, additional cost they want to bear up. The supply chain had evolved rather than grown by design. and hence become unnecessarily complex. So their supply chain management, their supply chain has complex and also it is not effective. Now you can suggest the possible solution to improve this supply chain. What are the possible suggestions you may forward to improve these suggestions? Just a case study. It's a real interesting how you can suggest or how you can forward your opinion to improve this supply chain, to improve this supply chain. Their sales were dropped and their supply chain was not in effective, and the team was found that their service is not good as expected by the customers, and fewer than 50% of the deliveries were arriving on time. Others are difficult, and the outsourcing decisions are ineffective, and they are facing some extra expenses. How you may put some suggestions to improve the supply chain management system of this company? Any suggestion? Any idea? Any suggestion? Any idea?
No, sir.
No. So their sales were dropped. Their sales were dropped because their service, you see, poor service. They found that service was indeed falling short of expectations. Their service to the customers is not as expected by the customers. How to improve? How to improve?
Fast delivery.
Fast deliveries. Okay. What else?
Increase the distributors.
Increase the distributions.
Number of distributions.
How about better customer service?
Okay.
Better customer service. What else? What else?
Pre-order services.
Pre-order services. Okay. What else? Service quality. Implementing some quality parameters inside the organizations. Is it possible?
Yeah, possible.
What else? Okay, these are some of the possible suggestions to improve their sales. So their sales income, sales revenue will increase. Fewer than 50% of outlet deliveries were arriving on time. What happened to the rest of the outlet? Fewer than 50% of outlet deliveries were arriving on time. What happened to other rest of the 50%?
There may be some logistic issues.
Exactly. There may be some logistic issues. Okay, how to solve that logistic issues? How to solve logistic related issues? When you take a case study, the fact of the matters cannot be in a, direct form. So you have to think from the problem point of view, and you have to get the idea, and you have to apply your knowledge, and you have to analyze it. So for the logistic related issues, how about this the value chain model? Visualize that the value chain model in your mind. Visualize the value chain. Now think about how to apply this value chain for these logistic related issues. So in the value chain, there are primary activities and supportive activities. And the primary activities, there are logistics, inbound and outbound logistic related activities. And by maintaining the value in each and every primary activities, ultimately we can increase the margin, profit margin. So improving the primary activities, So ultimately it will increase the profit margin and improve our logistic and supply chain operations. Efficient use of supply chain and logistic operations. And cost cutting. If there is any unwanted and additional cost in the logistic operations, reduce that, and cut off or eliminate that additional cost. So these are some of the possible remedies we may put forward. Several poor outsourcing decisions had led to excessive expenses. So how to suggest or propose some of the solution for this problem? Several poor outsourcing decisions had led to excessive expenses. How to solve? Any suggestions? So what we can do is, If the outsourcing is failure, we may find some other better outsourcing decisions. Sorry, better outsourcing partners. We can get the service from other vendors or other service providers. And if you are going for some other better service providers, this additional cost will be eliminated. Otherwise, with the existing outsourcing company, we may rewrite the contract with the conditions while we are eliminating these expenses, additional expenses. Or else we may hire some consultants to look after these matters, to monitor these matters. So these are some of the possible ways to solve this issue. Okay, the supply chain had evolved rather than grown by design and had hence become unnecessarily complex. So their supply chain is unnecessarily complex. How to solve this one? Find the bottleneck in the supply chain systems and try to sort it out, that bottleneck. And if there is any intermediary organization which is harmful or which is problematic, try to find another intermediary, another distributor. Try to understand the problem from the customer's point of view and try to solve it out and improve our supply chain systems. And if there is any problem from the supply side, and try to solve that supplier's problems. With regard to finance or fund related, transaction related issues with the relevant parties, try to find the solutions. So these are some of the remedies can be possible, which can be possible to forward this issue. So similar kind of a case studies sometime you may have in your, I don't think so, but if you are having the case studies in your exam, you have to think in this way and you have to propose your suggestions and by applying your knowledge. Okay. So with that, I'm going to conclude today's session. And if you have any doubt or any problem or anything, you can ask me. And as I said earlier, I will forward the previous and today's session lecture slide with a group. Group or about sending to individual.
In the WhatsApp group, sir. You can share it in the WhatsApp.
The same WhatsApp group or
yeah, same group.
Okay, in the same WhatsApp group, I will share the previous one and today's lecture slide. Okay, anything do you want to clarify? Any concern?
No, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. See you then. Take care.
Thank you, sir.